States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We need to amend the agenda. I need a motion to consider the approval of the agenda with also adding in under new business item F, the NC Governor's Highway Safety Program and closed session at the end of the tonight pursuant to NCGS 143-318.11A4. Can I hear a motion?
I make a motion to accept the agenda with the additional items and closed session.
Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Great, pass it. And now do I need a motion to approve the consent agenda, approve the regular agenda?
I make a motion that we approve.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, good deal, passes. So first on the agenda is oath of office for Officer Blake. Come forward. Yeah, Officer Blake, I want you to just try to use 30 minutes, as long as you want.
I'm Officer Blake. Thank you to the chief, thank you to my wife, thank you guys for the opportunity for me to serve and protect the community of Benson. You guys see me out there, don't be afraid to say hi. I'm friendly, I don't bite, so. Very happy to be here.
You have 29 more minutes. Consent agenda. So I need, I guess, somebody to make a motion about the consent agenda.
I make the motion we approve the consent agenda.
Okay, all in favor? Good. Next is public comment. Audit. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, okay. So could I have Mr. Sharp come up and give us our audit results?
Good evening. My name is Jay Sharp. I'm the audit partner in charge of the town's audit. I'm here to present the 2024 audit for the town of Benson. I do have a presentation to go through. Feel free to interrupt me during my presentation, or you can wait till the end if you have any questions. So we're going to start out with the status of the 24 audit. Field work has been completed. The financial statements have been prepared. It has been sent to the local government commission for their review. I did get a response yesterday from them, so I'm thinking they're going to give approval either tomorrow or Monday at the latest, and so we'll be able to issue the 2024 audit. I just want to remind anybody that's been on the board before, obviously has heard me speak. For any new members, just a little basic understanding of our roles and objectives as auditors. We don't come in and just start crunching the numbers. There's some things we do ahead of time at the beginning of the audit. Most of that is involving internal controls, evaluating internal controls, testing controls, For 2024, we tested controls over 2 areas, cash disbursement / credit cards, and over payroll. We do this because auditors, we have what you call a risk-based audit approach. The same approach we've used in prior years. We're assessing risk of all the significant financial reporting areas the town has, for example, cash, receivables, revenues. We are going to concentrate our audit efforts on the higher risk areas, but we do look at every significant financial reporting area the town does have. And we do this because the risk assessment gives us a roadmap on how we're going to conduct our audit on an annual basis. We don't do the exact same thing every year. That risk assessment does change year in and year out depending on what's going on with the town. As auditors, we have to obtain what we consider to be sufficient audit evidence to render an opinion on the financial statements. That opinion concentrates on whether the financial statements are materially correct or not. So just a little background on what we do as auditors. So I'll get with the results of the 2024 audit. Obviously, the timing of the audit was not on track for 2024. Y'all usually see me in November, December. I'm here in September after the 2025 year was closed. And I'll talk about that here in a second. The audit report I was talking about, the reason you hire us, the opinion. The town did receive an unmodified opinion on its financial statements. That is a clean audit opinion. Obviously, the opinion that the town should strive for year in and year out. So clean audit opinion for 2024. Now, I talked about internal controls. We evaluate different things during the audit procedures. If we know there are any issues, we're required to report those in what we call findings. There's 2 levels of findings, significant deficiency and material weakness. Material weakness are the more higher finding, the ones you want to try to avoid. The town did have 2 findings for 2024. The first one is the over expenditure of the budget. The budget was overexpended in several areas. The amount that it was overexpended by was material to the financial statements. I think in 2023 you had a significant deficiency related to that, but it did increase to material weakness because of the amounts of the over expenditure. Material weakness number 2, it's inadequate controls over the financial reporting and closing process. And that's part of the reason the audit took so long. There were not controls in place to ensure that the numbers, when we received them, were materially correct. We worked thoroughly through months and months to try to get those numbers correct. We were finally able to do that recently and able to get the audit to the local government commission. Some additional things, when we submit the audit to the local government commission, we submit, along with the audit, kind of a worksheet where we fill it out based on the audited numbers. That worksheet kind of spits out some performance indicators, and if there's some issues, the town is responsible for responding to those. The town's had some minor issues in the past, but for 2024, there was a lot more issues noted, and I want to go over those here briefly. And like I said, I'll be glad to take any questions you have on these. The first one is the unassigned fund balance. The town's unassigned fund balance in the general fund at the end of 2024 was negative $850,000. Obviously, that's a negative financial indicator there from the performance of the general fund. We'll get into that a little bit more, what caused that. We look at one of the calculations is what we call a quick ratio. What they're looking at here is your liquid assets, such as cash, receivables, and your ability to pay current obligations, such as accounts payable, current debt payments. This number at the very minimum should be 1-to-1. That means you have enough current assets to pay down your current obligations. We generally recommend this to be anywhere from 2 to 3-to-1 because this is having to deal with your business type funds, your proprietary funds, water and sewer, and electric. For 2024, the quick ratio for the water and sewer fund was 0.19. Basically, you had 1/5 of the amount of current assets to pay down those obligations. For the electric fund, it was 0.52. So you had about half the amount of current assets in place necessary for your current obligations. Obviously, both are well below the 1-to-1 that the LGC requires and well below what we generally recommend with those ratios. And so that's a performance indicator. The water and sewer fund did not have any cash balances at the end of the year. and the electric fund only had $300 in petty cash. They had to borrow due from between the general fund to supplement operations. The electric fund had an operating loss for the year, as we'll go through when we get through the numbers. I believe that's all the performance indicators. Are there any questions on that before I move on with my presentation?
Sure, you have been coming, you were here last year, right? You
Yes.
presented the audit. At what point in time, I mean, we've been doing this since 2023. Okay, you're finding these facts and we meet with you and when you leave, well, the audit is complete and everything's good, but the audit's not complete because we hadn't turned it into the LGC and now we're just getting approval on it. Now, in your findings, your company, who do you get in touch with to say, hey, you've got it and you need to be working on it?
That would be the finance officer or the town manager at the point we would discuss that.
And did you do that?
Yes.
Okay, so.
Yes, because the town has to respond.
There's a breakdown there that we're aware of now. That's where we were not getting the information to do, but it seems like to me if LGC is gonna cut all of our borrowing funding that we can do from 2023, 2024, it seems like that the state or somebody should have got in touch. If the management was not doing their job, then it looks like there's another route that they could come to that we would find out. I found out because of a text message from LGC 2 months before this thing happened. And I didn't actually get it. I found out from one of the commissioners that got it. Said, have you seen this? I said, no, but I saw it then. I'm just wondering, your part, is it proper for you when you're addressing us and giving us the figures and stuff to say, y'all need to be doing this different instead of, well, this is good and this is good and we've got a clean audit? Because that's what I had heard in the past. You had a clean audit. You're no better than the figures that are given to y'all. And now we're in a bind and not looking to point fingers, but we don't want to get there anymore. I knew this back in 2023 that we had some problems, and I've asked to see some figures, and I hadn't said. I wish I would have called you.
Yeah, obviously I'm always available for discussion if anybody's ever wanting to talk about anything revolving the audit or the financials. As auditors, our job is to make sure the numbers are presented materially correct. We can't get involved in management duties and how to make the town's finances better because we have to be independent when it comes to the audit process. If we start making decisions for y'all, then we're not independent any longer. But, we always, at the end of the audit, will discuss with the town manager or finance officer, these are the issues we've noted. The performance indicators, the commissioners and the mayor have to sign that every year if there are some before you give it to the LGC. So you obviously be looking at these this year and signing off on those. This is a thing that did take a drastic turn between 23 and 24. I went back in 23. You did have unassigned fund balance when I presented that, and that was within what we'd like to see it as. So there was a huge drop off between 23 and 24 in the numbers. A lot of that, I think, is over expenditures in the capital projects. And some of that is the proprietary funds are not operating what I would consider efficiently. They are not making as much money as they should. The electric fund's losing money from the 2024 audit. Obviously, those are business type funds, and anytime you're running a business, you don't want to lose money. And so that's something obviously y'all should take in consideration. But we can't direct you on how to correct that because that's a management duty on,
Well, some of that was brought to our attention last year as far as
Yes.
water and sewer fund.
Mm-hmm.
We knew that, we found out that we were not making anything. Matter of fact, we were in the negative. We did something about that because we knew. Now it's actually making a little money, the water and sewer. But I don't want to be left out anymore. If I'm sitting up here, I want to be told something, and we're getting more information now in the last 2 months than we have got in the last 2 years.
Sure.
Okay?
I can understand the frustration. Like I said, we've communicated that, and if y'all didn't get the
And you can
communication.
stay up here tonight and say, okay, here's what you need to do, and your audit's clean. But if you've got something, your audit won't be clean unless you do this, that's what I want to hear.
Sure, absolutely. All right, required communications, this is a separate letter addressed to the board. There's 4 main talking points with this letter. First, if there's any major accounting policy changes, there were none during 2024. One of the areas we pay close attention to during the audit are any estimates derived from management. Your town has 2 major estimates, depreciable lives of its capital assets and the allowance for doubtful accounts. Both those appeared reasonable. No disagreements with management. I did talk about the difficulties encountered during the audit process. We completed our field work last year in the October timeframe and submitted a draft to the town. But we had a major issue in which the fund balance from the prior year was not rolling forward correctly. The fund balance, obviously has to roll forward correctly in order for the financial statements to be correct. We indicated this, and it was noted to us that there was a software conversion on an accounting level that may have caused that, and they were looking into it, having communications with the software company. We did follow up several times and never got an answer onto why that fund balance was not rolling forward correctly. Obviously, we recently, with the help of an outside firm that came in to look at y'all's accounting software and numbers, discovered what the issues were and corrected those so we could issue the statements for 2024. But that's where a major part of the difficulty was some of that fund balance not rolling and not getting the information in order to make sure the financial statements were correct. Now, getting to the numbers for 2024, general fund, and I said this is kind of trend analysis, reds, revenues, blues, expenditures. 2022 and 23, your expenditures outnumbered your revenues for operations. It did change in the general fund in 2024, almost $6.4 million in revenues, and just below almost $6.3 million in expenditures. A slight profit, nothing huge, but obviously better than the loss that you had 2 years before when it came to general fund. Now, you did have some other things, some other financing sources, and some insurance recovery money that actually made the general fund's fund balance go up during 2024, as we'll see on the next slide. So the general fund at the end of 2024 is almost $2.5 million in fund balance. So, overall, over the last 10 years, your general fund balance has gone slightly up. So obviously that part is trending in the right direction from that. But we'll kind of look at, that compared to the water and sewer fund and the electric fund here in a second.
But that fund balance in general funds changed because of the water and sewer increase that we had?
No, that has nothing to do with water and sewer.
Nothing?
We'll go through those in a second. This is just a general fund, your town's general operations, public safety, the administration, environmental protection, cultural and recreational, things like that. This has nothing to do with the business type funds, which we'll talk about here in a second. But the important thing I do want to note on this, the general fund, the breakdown of what your general fund's made out of. Typically, your town has 3 parts of the fund balance. Restricted fund balance, which is usually related to debt payments and maybe some external grants or things like that, which makes up a small slither. Then you have your unassigned fund balance, which is available to be used by the town. And then we have the restricted by state statute. Restricted by state statute is usually money that's not been received by the town yet. It's money that's due, whether for sales tax or other types of taxes or things like that. And general statute says you can't use money you haven't received yet. And so usually you see an orange piece of this pie. There's no orange pie piece because, as I mentioned before, you have an unassigned fund balance that's negative. The issue is the water and sewer fund and the electric fund have not operated correctly or efficiently over the last couple of years. especially in 2004, and so it had to borrow money from the general fund to supplement operations, and that put the general fund in a negative unassigned fund balance. You do have fund balance, but like I said, a majority of that's restricted because it was money that was due to the town at year end, either from external sources or from other funds, and so you couldn't use it until you get that money. Obviously, with the electric fund and the water and sewer fund not having funds at the end of the year, it's going to take a while to get that money paid back to the general fund. So I just want you to be aware of that you have no unassigned fund balance, and that's one of the issues that came up with the financial indicators.
And Jay, you're saying you cannot count the money that has not come in.
No, because obviously you
I
can't budget
think-
money you haven't received.
Right, and
Yes.
I think this has been some of the problem.
Oh, it's
We
been
were-
a lot of the problem. We had that discussion as far as paying engineer fees of 400, 500,000, and we didn't have the grant coming in until we put the pipe in the ground. We had that with the engineers now, and that's where some of this problems had got to, but we sure would have probably backed off on some projects too if we knew what kind of situation we were getting in.
So the cash reserves in general fund is something we calculate the cash versus the average expenditures to kind of indicate how much cash you have. At the end of the year, though, you had no cash in reserves for the general fund. Like I said, that had been lent out to the other funds there. So that's obviously something to pay attention to moving forward. And that's something that's been going down since 2021. Back then, you had 150 days in cash reserves, and it went down to about 35, 34 days the last couple of years before 2024 general fund cash was used up. So at the end of the year, 2024, you have about $1.3 million of cash in the books. Majority of that is in your project funds, and some of it's restricted cash that's not available for use. Property tax revenue continues to go up. For 2024, $2.4 million. It was about right between $2.1 and $2.2 million in 2023. So saw an increase in property tax revenues for the year. Your property tax rates also did go up during 2024. And then other taxes, which is going the wrong way, sorry. Other taxes, which is kind of sales tax and other taxes you receive, kind of remained steady, went down slightly. Not very huge decrease, kind of maintained there. But the things I really want to talk about is the water and sewer fund and the proprietary fund, the electric fund. So we'll talk about the water and sewer fund first. Here, the red, obviously, once again, we see is revenues, blue is expenditures. For 2024, the water and sewer fund revenues, about 3.9, almost $4 million. Your expenditures are almost $4.3 million. Now, a big chunk of that is depreciation, which is a non-cash expense. If you take depreciation into effect, the water and sewer fund did show a slight profit, but I say a slight profit. With other towns we work with throughout the state of North Carolina, we typically see the water and sewer fund have a greater profit margin than the town of Benson did have during 2024. So each of the last couple of years, it's showing losses here. If you take depreciation in effect, you would have slight profits. Not large ones, just slight profits in those. And obviously the water and sewer fund has a lot of projects going on, and some of that money from the water and sewer fund is being used to try to finance those along with other outside sources. So that's kind of depleted the water and sewer fund of its cash balances. At the end of the year, like I said, the last 3 years, minimal cash, if any, for the water and sewer fund. It was zero at 2024. You had to borrow actually a substantial amount from the general fund to supplement operations. Kind of says, and this is kind of showing you the operating cash flows. There's 3 areas of cash flows, but the most important one is operations. Can you generate positive cash flows from operating the water and sewer fund? Obviously, for 2024, you did. 2023 it was a slight cash flow, and 3 out of the last 7 years you've had negative cash flows from your operations in the water and sewer fund. But overall you're able to maintain cash because of the projects that you do have ongoing. I think you mentioned some of these things have been paid ahead of time and waiting reimbursement, but that's part of the issues there. Same thing with the electric fund. The biggest difference between the electric fund and water and sewer fund is the depreciation amount's not that big in the electric fund. So if you actually take that into consideration, you have an operating loss for the electric fund for 2024, even with depreciation taken out, which obviously is an issue, is one of the financial performance indicators that the LGC is going to request a response to. Once again, same thing, cash is down to zero for the water and sewer fund. It was zero last year also. It said operations have created losses. As you will see here, this is the operating cash flow. You've had negative cash flow each of the last 3 years. Not as bad this year as it was in 2023, but once again, that's an accumulating problem that the town has not been able to recover from, and its electric fund is negative cash flow for the last 3 years from operations. With that, that concludes my presentation. I'll be glad to take any additional questions you have on the audit procedures, the numbers, the results of the audit for 2024.
Just like the electrical department losing money, do you get the figures to find out why and what projects we're on that we're losing that money off of?
Yes, those are the audited financial statements at the back. There's a schedule of each project, and it tells you the budget for the project, tells you the revenues through 2024 for that project, and the expenditures for that project, that you can indicate which projects are not performing well. Most of those are in the water and sewer fund. I believe there was 13 projects that had negative budgets. They had expended more than they'd budgeted for at the end of 2024. That includes all the funds.
Well, I think you will see in 2025, we got more of a handle on it than we've ever had before. Electrical, water and sewer, we had some project that we were spending a lot of money on and getting nothing in return.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what I wanted to know from you. Can you say, well, this project right here, y'all spent $1 million on it, and it'll be 10 years before you get any money back off of it. But
yeah.
You don't see those figures, though, do you?
We don't see any of no, we don't see those. We just, for the project, see what's, obviously the project, each project has to have a balanced budget. We see what the expected revenue sources are, whether it's transfers from the town or from outside grants or, state sources, and then the, budgeted expenditures to complete that project. That's what we see.
Anybody else have any questions? Thanks, sir.
Great, thank you, appreciate you, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I do have something to share
Okay.
about the performance indicators.
Go ahead.
You bring it up, Tyler, thanks. We sent that out to you all, and there it is. Bring it back. Yeah, thank you. The performance indicators is what he was talking about, that we as the town are going to have to provide answers to the LGC as to how we're going to resolve those issues, the ones that he was just talking about. And so the staff will be writing something up on that, and the board will it'll be shared with the board, and we have to provide that to the LGC. The first slide there, and I'll go through it. I'm not looking to take long here, but one of the things I wanted you to notice was, let me get my sheet. On this particular slide, it talks about, the LGC talks about the type of fund balance, and we're talking about unassigned fund balance, that's a reserve that municipalities should have based on their budget. If a municipality has a general fund of between $1 million and $9.9 million, and we have just a little over $5 million general fund, the minimum threshold that the LGC is looking for is a 34% fund balance. That means that Benson should have right at $2 million in their unassigned fund balance. And so we're 846,000 to the negative right now, or at the end of last year. We don't know what the fiscal year 2025, hopefully will have improved. The median for towns with our budget is 63%. However, I would caution you about that number because a number of those are from communities on the coast where the property taxes are higher, and they also have built a larger reserve because they have to deal with natural catastrophes like hurricanes. But the minimum we should have is 34%, and so that's something that the town should be working towards for the next 3 to 4 years. The next slide, real quick here, shows what he was talking about. And can you bring that up, Tyler? I'm sorry. Oh, I guess I could do that. The next slide, you'll see the blue is 2022 year end, and the fund balance, the unassigned fund balance, was just under 12%. The red is the fiscal year end 2023. The fund balance was like 8.5%, and the green is the nearly 12% in the hole that, or negative, that we have at the end of fiscal year 2024. And you'll notice that there's a pink column there that tells you the 11.98%. When it's in the pink, that means that we, as a town, have to respond about how we're going to take care of that. So we'll be putting that together. The next slide, there we go. The next slide is the quick ratio of the water and sewer fund that he was talking about. You'll see that at the 2024 is in the green, is at 0.19. And as he was saying, it should be a minimum of 1.0, which basically is your expenditures and your revenues match. You actually want it to be higher than that, so you're building up a reserve in that account. I will tell you that I think that your fiscal year 2025 will be much better because you all did go up on your water and sewer rates following your water rate analysis that you did a little over a year ago. And it's also, there were additional rate increases for this year, and as you know, our cash balance, our cash position on July 18th was $135,000 to the positive. So the water and sewer fund now is beginning to do what it's supposed to do. The next one is the quick ratio for the electric fund. The electric fund for the end of 2024 is the quick ratio is 0.52, which basically means that the electric fund is not making enough money to cover its expenses, and we're going to have to come up with an answer for that as well. So as to how we're going to improve that, and I'm going to be talking to you about that later this evening about a cost of service study. And that's basically it. That I just wanted to quickly show you those performance indicators that the auditor already showed, and this is the document that we were provided by LGC that we have to respond to.
Steve, let me ask you one thing. When I came back on this board back in 2021-22, I was told our fund balance was at 52%. And in 2023, I was told it was at 50%. Now, where were they getting those figures at? Because I had always asked. That's when Jerry was here and he said, fund balance, fund balance, fund balance. We had to have fund balance. But, you know. You're
talking about two different things, Mr. Chandler.
About what we were supposed to have.
I know, yes, sir. And I think I wasn't there, but it sounds like what you were getting was what the total fund balance is, which is the restricted dollars that he was talking about, and that you do not have. They're not reserve dollars. You don't have access to those dollars to be able to spend as a reserve. The unassigned fund balance, unrestricted, is what you're looking to build up, and that's what's in the negative right now.
And that's why we're supposed to have 30% off.
Yeah.
Because our cash.
That the only answer I've got is that when you say it's.
When did you find out that we didn't have the cash in the bank? 2023?
Asking.
Yeah,
Everybody told me, you don't understand, mate. You don't understand.
Yeah. Don't understand because the money is there. We didn't have the money. It's in the clouds.
That's right.
Yeah.
But are they still looking at property that the town owns as far as you can't use that in a fund balance?
Yeah,
right?
I can't answer that question. That's an auditor's question, sir. I
Well,
can,
The auditor,
he's already
Has he
gone. I
gone?
thought, yeah, he left.
Thank
Yeah, yes, sir, thank you.
Mr. Steve, as far as the electric fund, I know you said that we've made the changes necessary in water and sewer. Have we made changes necessary in our electric fund to meet that one-to-one yet? We start building back?
I'm gonna rely on Kayla, because she's here when they were making the change.
Yes, with the rate increases we've done, we're on the right track, but again, Steve's gonna talk about that cost of service study, because I think until we get that done and we can really see what it's costing to run that department as a whole, because I will say rates still need to be adjusted to get where they need to be comparative to Duke, South River, and others around us. We still are not meeting what their rates are, so therefore clearly we're not gonna be, getting the revenue they are to help our infrastructure. Are we moving in the positive direction? Yes, we are.
are you talking about rates with pipes in the ground, or are you just talking about paying? Okay, both.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And when we get to the cost of service study part of the agenda, I'll get into a little more description of that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, next on the agenda is public comment. Individuals wishing to address the board are asked to provide their name and address for the record.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Katina Blue. I'm the owner of BHW Studio Restore. My husband and I own 101 North Market Street in Benson. I would like to have a discussion with you today about an issue that we're having with the homeless population surrounding our building. Is it okay if I give you a piece of paper?
Sure.
Thank you. I'm sorry my husband couldn't be here with us, but he may be walking in any minute. I was looking at the council vision that you posted here, and it says that you're looking for steadily growing into the future, providing an excellent quality of life for all while retaining small town charm and beauty. That kind of stuck out to me, especially with what I want to talk with you about today, because one of your council priorities about economic development is something that my husband and I are certainly interested in doing with our several businesses that we run out of 101 North Market Street. We have 14 spaces, over 6 tenants who use that space. We share the alleyway with the laundromat called Orbeez. In December of 2021, we bought what was the previous town hall from many years ago and renovated it. We spent a significant amount of money in those renovations in hoping that we could provide some services to Benson that would help with pain relief and other things. One of the problems that we have had when we first bought the building were a lot of the homeless were using drugs, defecating in our spaces, urinating on the building. All of this is in video and pictures. I can thank the public safety who always would come around and check on our doors and walk through, and I've sent several emails to the police concerning it, and it seemed that it would resolve itself. But here lately, over the past 16 days, it has come back, and not only has it come back, but it's come back with a vengeance. So whenever they started climbing, putting a ladder in our alleyway and climbing on our roof is when I had to put cameras on our roof, cameras around 360 degrees of our building. And just 16 days ago, this is how our alleyway looks. If I were to pull up my cameras right now, you would see this particular gentleman who now has about 4 carts. He has a gaming chair. He's using drugs as of about an hour ago back there, trash bags, all kinds of things. One of the things that is an issue for us is we continue to have rodent issues in a building that is just nearly over a year old in renovation. So we have to constantly called the pest control to spray. My husband and I have gone out there and spoke to the gentleman who keeps doing that. I've sent an email to the chief of police. He gave me the gentleman's name. I spoke to him. His name is Kevin Hall. Just as of yesterday, he says he'll be leaving in a few days. I asked him, did he have permission? He said, somewhat. I said, well, what does that mean? Are you saying that Orby has given you permission to actually camp in this space? Now, we have 3 external doors that go out of our building into the alleyway. The surveying company uses the alleyway, who rents in our building, so do we. And every time we go back there, we have to see this gentleman using drugs, drinking, there's trash all over the place. We have to move the trash back over to his side. There has been great contention with Orby and my husband and I, for whatever reason, because she's of the opinion that all of our property is on her lot. Well, if you look at the historic sites, that particular building is classified as a historic site and listed. However, the corner, the brick, about 3 feet of the front of the building, just the little curbing part, touches what is perceived as her space. So she reached out and told us that she doesn't want to talk with us. She doesn't want to be neighborly. So all we can tend to do is to try to keep the space as clean as possible. Now, we are front-facing Market Street. If you ride by there, the grass is overgrown. The previous town manager, I think her name was Kim, I would send her pictures. They would find her. She would come to my husband and I and say, we're trying to run her out. We're trying to force her to sell. We have no desire to force her to sell. But if she wants to sell, I'd be glad to buy her business and show her what to do with it. But I digress. What I'm trying to say is it is really important that if we want to attract and retain and grow things in this particular town, then we need to have our buildings in a way that is pleasing to your customers. So I say the problem that I'm having is that local businesses do not want homeless populations sleeping, loitering, and camping around our spaces. And I don't know if there is an ordinance about it, so I have taken upon myself to draft one that is basically kind of like an excerpt of what Raleigh has and a few other towns. Lincolnton, I did a research on other towns and cities and what they do concerning this issue. Our main problem is safety, sanitation, and customer experience. Some of the tenants, whenever they start walking around, they come in the evenings and they see these carts going through, it makes them uncomfortable. I have a lot of females who are in that space and they're there late working with their clients, and to have to deal with that is an issue. I was just going around the building off of Main Street. They have a rear. You don't really see people hanging out. Why? Because there's no fence. It is interesting to me that Orby has a fence as if she's in a residential area where this is downtown. And she is allowed to have a fence where you can't really see what's going on. But we see constantly the behavior of persons who come back there, they store things. It looks like bikes, it looks like machinery. All through the night, our cameras continuously go off. I reported it to the police area, and they said, well, it's not your property, so there's nothing you can really do about it. I thought that was a very interesting response, because it should be a community concern that there's any type of subjective behavior that could cause harm or issue. Now, just about an hour ago, the gentleman was firing up something that appeared. I almost walked back there, but I didn't have my protection. So he was smoking and looked like he was injecting something in his body. And I said, Adrian, what if a fire breaks out? Who's going to pay for it? He doesn't have any money. Is it his liability? Is it her liability? Is it ours? So I just want to come before the town with a passionate response to say, we, as a community of business owners, need your help in coming up with some type of ordinance that commercial businesses should not be allowed. I don't care if she says that she does allow it. Allow the people to come inside then and stay in your place. If you want to support the homeless community, that's great. You have a washerette, wash their clothes, give them a bath. I have a video of him just the other day. He's got flies just flying all around him. Now, he has actually made, and any day there's going to be a mattress. We've removed a mattress before that was back there. So all I'm saying is, I would love for you all to hold a discussion, get with the attorneys and see whatever we can do in a very humane way to deal with what could be an issue for others in the future. As I don't know what's going on around other areas. I just know what me and my husband are dealing with as owners and what our tenants are complaining about.
Mr. Mayor, we are already staff-wise looking into it, both ordinance-wise and I've already talked with the police chief, and we're gonna come up with the type of solutions that she's talking about, and we'll
Great.
bring it to y'all's work session.
I saw it today. I saw it at lunch today. Something else.
Yeah, I've been over there and seen it, so we're addressing it.
How long has it been going on, dear?
Since 2021, we bought the building is when we started seeing a significant issue. But then once we put the cameras up and the police started kind of patrolling the area, it's like it kind of went away. Every now and again, traffic happens over there, but that's her. It's a police issue. If they don't think nothing's wrong with what goes on over there, then that's fine. I have an issue whenever they start bringing junk and trash and things that cause us to have issues
So it's
as a
been
business.
more than Mr. Hall before it was somebody else.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I
It has been several.
feel you, Ms. Blue. This has been an ongoing problem. When I bought my building in 2015 and remodeled it, we had same people coming in. I've got them on video. I went to the police chief. They were defecating on our property and doing all of the above. They told me to, and I'll tell you what I got told. They said, put up no trespassing signs. I put up no trespassing signs. They arrested her for trespassing, or the person for the next time that she trespassed. I went to court, took a day off of work in court. She was there for roll call. She walked out of court right after roll call. I sat there for 6 more hours until they called the case, and then when she wasn't there, they dropped it, and she was back in my alley that night. So it's been going on for years, and while we're looking at this policy, I had talked with the previous manager about this. In fact, I've got a sample policy on my desk, I believe, from Hayden. I would love to look at a vacant building policy as well,
Yes,
so
sir.
that we can work on that.
The one from Aiden is the one I did, so.
Okay, well, I've got your policy on my desk as an
Yes, sir.
example that
That's
I've showed
the one
the
we did
previous
while I was
manager to
manager. Yes, sir.
try to get rid of some of those. So I would love to see those
Yes, sir.
be brought forth.
Okay.
if
But,
possible.
but in the meantime, the owner of that building needs to be contacted.
we're-
'Cause
yes,
this is really, it's out of hand.
We're gonna take care of it. We're working on it right now. We're gonna take care of it.
I would also like to add, if you don't mind, is I don't understand how a fence like that, which encourages the behavior, is even allowed as if it's a residential house. It is a commercial structure. And as far as the house, the actual landscaping, it is a constant problem. So I would love for even more ordinances on the groundskeeping of commercial spaces also be considered.
I think the fence would probably be a grandfather issue, and the reason I know that is because my staff went to town hall a month ago about putting in a fence up to block some commercial property, and I was told that no one allowed. So that was probably a grandfather issue. So if the fence ever gets destroyed, then it means it can't go back up. Am I correct in saying that, Tanner?
But has that fence always been back there? Was it back there when you were moving in?
Well, the
Or
fence
building?
was attached to our building, and my
Right.
husband detached it.
Right.
But it is still there, and, you know, it's,
I think it was there when I was on Market Street, and that was 2012.
I know the Cenas who we purchased the building from, they constantly had a problem with the fence as well.
You guys own, you said there was a debate about this. Did she own all that place he is? Does the Orbeez person own all of it, or you guys own half, or?
You mean the alleyway?
Uh-huh.
Well, our property line is just so funky. Our property is on its correct line, but according to, we've had like 3 surveys done. We actually have a survey that's in our building now. It's almost like they just kind of did like a little curbing or something on the front corner of it, and that's what is actually on what is considered her property line. But the contention between the lawyers have been, it looks like our property actually goes into the alley that people drive in, right? So is it proper for the Blues to actually put up a fence in the alleyway so no one can actually drive in the alley? We wouldn't do anything like that. Our thing of it is we have infrastructure in the alley. We have our Phase 3 electric that we have spent, there's my husband, we have spent over $20,000 just to the town of Benson and upgrading the infrastructure. And they have to use the alleyway to actually access that. So the alleyway is a common entrance. No matter whose line it's on, you have to go that way to even deal with your plumbing and the town sewer lines.
Just let us know if nothing happens, and I'd love to, we're gonna all get on this. We're gonna make sure we do it.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Kamitha Fullwood. I'm actually the Population Health Officer at the Johnston County Public Health Department. I am strictly here just to introduce myself to everyone in the community of Benson and let everyone know that your Johnston County Public Health Department continues to offer programs and services that support well-being and health, and we want to make sure that everyone in the town of Benson is well informed about some of the offerings we have. So just to piggyback on the back of the prior citizen that was up here, I do want to let everyone know that on October the 10th at the Johnston County Public Health Department, we will be hosting a free Narcan training. So if anyone would like to come and learn how to use Narcan or receive Narcan either for their building or for their home or for their work site, for their employees, we'd love to help support that effort if you are interested. The time of that event is from 2 to 4 p.m. at the Johnston County Public Health Department. It is free of charge. It is open to any and everyone who may be interested. So I did want to share that information. We also have an opioid task force. I hope you guys and everyone is familiar that Johnston County does have opioid settlement funds. We are using that funds to serve several projects. You may have heard of our EMS port team that is out and about in the streets of Johnston County, which are 4 full-time paramedics who are responding to overdoses and helping link individuals to services. And that is paid for through our opioid settlement funds. So make sure you guys are in the room and letting us know what the needs of Benson are as it relates to opioids and responding to those types of things. Our next meeting will be October the 14th from 3 to 5 at the Johnston County Public Health Department. If you'd like to be in the room, state any type of needs that you have. We will always be working on our strategies and initiatives as it relates to opioids. And we'd like to know what's happening in Benson so that we can ensure that we are serving the whole county. Another thing that we are doing is we will be getting trained in some evidence-based chronic disease programs and some evidence-based chronic pain programs. So once we get those on our calendar, I will come back and let you know when those programs are. I do have packets of information that I can leave here in a central location that if anyone, either the town or any of the citizens would like to pick up these flyers. We like to come out into the community and host programs. We actually hosted a Narcan training in this very building. I remember. It was amazing. So I just wanted to share that information. I will continue to come to some of these meetings just to keep you abreast of what's happening on the public health end and to just share some of the resources and opportunities that we are offering. Thank you so much. Oh, y'all need an address, right? I'm going to use the health department address, 517 North Brightleaf Boulevard.
Repeat that.
517 North Brightleaf Boulevard. We are connected to the hospital. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. If you need anything, we are here. Yes, ma'am.
I do have one question. I know you talked about the opioids and all that, but do y'all have any type of resources for the homeless population?
I knew y'all was going to ask me that question. I mean, you couldn't ask me about no flu shots or no COVID shots or no Narcan. You can't ask me about that, can you?
I had my flu shot.
I know. At this time, that we do not, but we can always explore some options. At this time, we don't, unfortunately, not at your local public health department.
Can we send your homeless person, let you work it out?
We can provide some primary care services to that individual to ensure that they are healthy, those types of things. But at this point, we are not addressing homelessness at our agency.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else? Let it come forward. No one else? Okay. So, not seeing anybody else coming forward. It's time for Anna. Public input.
Hello, everyone. All right, perfect. Our first item tonight is RZ02, a request to rezone approximately 5.09 acres from highway business B3 to residential R30. The petitioner is Mitchell Bird, who also owns the property with Jordan Bird. The lot is currently vacant. When looking at the property from 242, the closest portion to the road is remaining B3, and the rear portion farthest from the road is being petitioned to be rezoned. The long-range plan identifies this area as commercial, which does not align with the rezoning request. However, the bordering designation is low-density residential, which does align with the rezoning request. Staff believes that the request is reasonable considering the rural nature of the surrounding area and the proximity to low-density residential mapped on the long-range plan. The board should adopt a statement of consistency with their motion, acknowledging whether or not the board believes that the request aligns with the long-range plan, as well as whether or not they approve the request. The planning board recommended approval.
Okay. So, do I hear a motion and then we can discuss?
It's a public hearing, correct?
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
You need to open the.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This was not quasi-judicial. We don't need to go through all the rigmarole that we have.
Okay. Good.
Good.
I need to be worse than that. I'd like for anyone to come that wants to speak in favor, is that right? Yeah. So anyone that wants to come forward and speak in favor of this rezoning? See it one more time. Anybody want to come and speak in favor? Anybody want to come and speak in opposition? Okay. One more time. Anybody want to come speak in opposition to this request? Okay, that means closed. Is that it?
No one came forward to speak.
Then
That's the public hearing for it.
Let it be noted, no one came forward during the public hearing, so now,
This is for them to deliberate.
okay. Yeah, anybody got any questions?
Both parcels on both sides are both residential, right? Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And you had no objections from the planning board? Did anyone object or anything?
No, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Well, Mayor, I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay, go right ahead.
I make a motion that you approve.
Okay, well, you have to read that, don't you?
No,
Yeah, I would build the statement of consistency into your motion.
You gotta
Yes,
read it.
that in the record.
I can't even see it. I said read. Let me see if I can.
You want me to do it?
You got, no, I don't want you to do it. I'll do it after the motion.
It is in the, on
Thank
page
you.
154.
154?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
I was looking for it for you.
Let me find it.
Here we go.
Thank you. All right. I move to approve that the proposed rezoning request is consistent with the comprehensive land use plan. Is that, do I need all these criterias?
I think if you just want to make the motion, if you.
I'll make the motion that we do
It
this.
satisfies all 8.
Okay.
So,
I made the motion. I
you
read
had a
the thing.
motion that you said it was consistent with the long-range plan,
Uh-huh.
that the 8 things, and it's approved, the rezoning will be approved.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Okay, passed. Next one.
All righty. So those statements of consistency come from the state, and they're a requirement for rezoning votes, just so you know. I don't just throw them in there. This next item is RZ03, a request to rezone approximately 2.56 acres from residential agricultural to highway business B3. The owner and petitioner is Billy O. Rayner. The property has a couple of vacant buildings on it currently. The site is right across the street from the intersection of Federal Road and Woodall Dairy. The site is designated as mixed-use junction on the long-range plan, which is consistent with the rezoning request. The board should adopt a statement of consistency with their motion, acknowledging whether or not the board believes that the request aligns with the long-range plan, as well as whether or not they approve the request.
Okay. Okay, do we have anybody that wants to come and speak in favor?
Good evening, Board. Sam Godwin on behalf of the applicant, Billy Rayner. This is our application to rezone 2.56 acres from RA to B3. That's located at 1135 Woodall Dairy Road. The applicant is seeking to rezone this. He's had some interest for various satellite contractor offices right there. It's located right near the I-40 interchange. These, the ones interested so far were mainly HVAC or plumbing that just wanted some kind of satellite office nearby, near the interstate. As Tanner said, B3 is compatible with the long-term mixed-use designation in the plan. There's existing buildings on there that could accommodate that proposed use. A neighborhood meeting did occur on August 13th. Myself, the applicant, and a couple of the adjoining landowners were in attendance. They had some questions about what, of course, was the proposed use, and the applicant did answer those questions. Some of them had concerns about possibly a buffer, and the applicant is in agreement of doing that and making sure that the back side of the lot's not going to be disrupting any of the residential neighbors. If there's any questions from myself or the applicant, I mean, we're happy to answer them for the board.
No one with any questions?
The commercial building right past that, that is where the big drilling, right down on the left, you can see it from, what's the name of it?
Busby Concrete?
Busby Concrete.
Well, no, Concrete Place is on Federal Road. I'm talking about on, right down from where they,
It's past there. If you go past it, it's like a couple miles. It's on the left.
it's within seeing distance.
That's Busby.
There's several.
There by the pond.
Yeah, by the pond?
Yeah, that's Busby Concrete.
Okay.
Yeah, there's several B3 existing uses in
I
and around.
thought the whole area was B3.
And I will make a point, the town's ETJ is cut off right there at Woodall Dairy Road. So all of that area with there has been defined as mixed use, and there's, especially on the other side of the exit, where several current B3 uses are in place.
If I'm not mistaken, when you go across the bridge, this is the parcel on the right. It's got the cinder block building on the right.
Yes, it was the applicant and his father-in-law used to have a construction business, ran out of there. And it would be, it's already currently catered towards that type of use. It just right now is vacant, and you know, of course, pending approval from this board, any occupancy would go through the proper protocols.
At the public meeting, did you have any opposition?
There was two neighbors. They weren't opposition in a sense. There was a member that was in opposition at the planning board. I'm not sure if he's present this evening, but they were just neighbors that had gotten notice and lived in that neighborhood. One of them was, of course, making sure that there wasn't a used car lot coming up there, and you know, there is families surrounding the parcel, and the applicant did get a chance to kind of answer some of their concerns, and I think the applicant if you want to hear it from him, he would sit there and tell you, I'm not trying to look for anybody that's going to have junk on the property. I want it to be well maintained and just for this kind of limited use.
Good. Anyone else want to come speak in favor of this request? So is there anyone who'd like to come and speak in opposition to this request? Again, anyone like to come and speak in opposition to this request? Okay, somebody. Okay,
I make a motion, I move that the rezoning is consistent with the long-range planning, that the rezoning is approved.
okay.
And it's consistent with all the, like,
Hey, thanks.
criteria, there you go.
Okay. Great, so we have a motion on the floor. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. 10-0.
All right, it's me again.
Mr. Mayor, before we start on this one, I think I need to disclose a potential conflict that you may want to consider refusing from this one. This is the right one that's entered in this B2?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. This is a text amendment, and so it's not property specific, but the reason this came about is because this is one of my client's property, and this rezoning would allow me to put a tenant in that property, which means I could see some compensation from the result of this, and so for that, I would ask y'all to consider maybe refusing me. I want to say anything.
So the standard, it's not the same as a quasi-judicial hearing. This is a little bit of a higher bar, I guess you want to think about it, to consider whether or not there's a recusal required. The standard is to whether or not one of the board members has a close familial business or association or relationship with the applicant. If there's a direct financial gain or impact to one of the board members, the business/close association or relationship here, I think, is a little tenuous. I think the statute really is concerned primarily with, for instance, if Commissioner Neighbors or one of yourselves was a business partner with the applicant, and this was a concern that you had a direct financial stake in, that would pretty much be an obvious conflict. This is not quite that. Commissioner Neighbors and I discussed it. I think what he's just told you is a representative or agent for the applicant. Is that right? So there, but although less of a connection, there's still one, and nonetheless, and so, you know, out of abundance of caution, you might want to consider doing a recusal, if there's no objection to that, but I'll happy to answer any questions about it.
Do we need a motion for that?
I would make a motion for that, right?
Well, I make a motion that we let him recuse himself, based on what, financial reasons?
A close business or association or relationship.
Well, I make a motion that he recuse himself.
We got a motion. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Just for everybody's benefit,
No,
that means
not personal.
no discussion. It's not quasi-judicial. I don't think we need to go to the extent of having you go sit out in the audience, which is actually a proper way of handling that, certainly in a QJ setting, but you can't participate in the discussion or in any other way, looks, anything like that. So, yeah, Dick, just look at you.
Put my nose in the corner.
No, we
It'll be all right.
Go.
Alrighty. This third item is Text Amendment 03, a petition to allow general retail in the neighborhood business B2 zoning district. The permitted use matrix would change to include the P permitted symbol in the B2 zoning district column. The ordinance describes neighborhood business as small-scale commercial uses offering primarily convenience shopping and services for adjacent residential uses. The ordinance describes retail general as a facility involved in the wholesale or retail sale, lease, or rental of newer used products to through traffic as well as the surrounding neighborhood. Retail general includes the sale of things such as antiques, art, clothing, jewelry, pets, sporting goods, etc. And I know this is not a great map, but I put this in there to kind of identify some areas that are B2. Whoever chose all the pastel colors, I'm not sure, but that's the best one we got.
motion, Tom. Do we do public comment again? Oh, on these two? Okay, I got you. Okay, who wants to come and speak in favor of this text amendment? Okay, seeing no one coming, anyone want to come speak in opposition to this text amendment? Okay. No one coming there either, so now we need a motion. All right.
This is one of the reasons why that rule about going and sitting in the audience is,
They don't listen.
Just wanted to find out where the damn paper.
So,
Where is it at?
He can't take it. Yeah, it's key.
So this would not pertain to any one business or place in particular. This is to change the rule book for all B2 zoned properties to be allowed to have general retail in the B2 zoning district.
do I have a motion? Please, do I have a motion?
Yes. I make a motion to approve, the text amendment as proposed.
Okay. So there's a motion on the floor. Any more discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that carries. Easy peasy.
All right, moving right along.
All right, now, where is it?
That allows me to put a tenant on the building on the one on the corner, on the 301.
The fourth item tonight is text amendment 04, a petition to include a footnote on the subdivision requirement table requiring stormwater provisions to be designed to the maximum impervious surface ratio of the zoning district. For example, this table only shows R30, but the note would apply to all residential zoning districts. The note would read, developers for major subdivisions must incorporate the maximum allowable impervious surface ratio per lot for their stormwater calculations. At the discretion of the administrator, lots that exceed 2 times the minimum lot size for the district may be exempted from this provision. In this example, developers would need to build their stormwater systems with 50% impervious surface area in mind. This staff-proposed amendment came about because of a common issue between homeowners wanting to build accessory structures, patios, etc. on their lot, to the UDO maximum impervious surface ratio, but subdivision developers often design their systems to only handle a percentage of that, and the homeowner is left in limbo at that point. Any questions?
What is the county's requirement? Do you know what Johnston County's requirement is? Do they make them build out to the maximum?
They do not.
Do you know what their percentage is?
It varies based on, and they have different zoning districts than us.
Do you think this would deter a community from a developer's point of view from wanting to annex into the town and to stay in the county because of the potential different additional cost? I mean, this is going to create additional cost, right?
This would increase costs, yes.
But they can put in I forgot what form it is to go with open ditches, correct, without stormwater?
However they design their stormwater, I rely on the experts for that to tell me whether it's okay or not, and then basically they get an approval from the county for that. So I'm not an expert on how they're designed. That may be the case. And also, just to note here, this particularly came about because of more dense neighborhoods with smaller lot sizes. That's where the real problem is, and that's where staff decided to put in the note that if lots inside the subdivision are more than twice the minimum lot size, example in R6, 6,000 is the minimum. Sometimes there's leftover remaining lots that don't really quite fit the puzzle. If those would be 12,000 or greater, they can continue to build those rules as written.
Anyone want to come and speak in favor of this text amendment? Okay, seeing no one coming, anyone want to come and speak in opposition to this text amendment? Okay, that concludes the public hearing.
This is staff, staff requested, right? Tanner, I'm sorry. So
Yes, sir. Staff proposed this
so
one.
this is basically because homeowners come up to you and if we're meeting 60% of the impervious surface,
Mhm.
and they read the UDO and our UDO says that our percentage is this, it's really the percentage of the 60%, not the percentage of the 100%.
That's exactly right. It would be the percentage of whatever the developer has built out the subdivision to, and not what the individual homeowner would be led to believe if they read the ordinance.
Okay. I'm begging somebody for a motion.
What are we basing these figures on?
Basically, you're moving more, you're making the developer go to 100% calculation, which means they're gonna have to increase stormwater provisions, right? And which means they're either gonna have less lots available on the property, or they're gonna have to pay more for stormwater.
It would be based on the lots that are proposed, and they would have to build it out to the maximum impervious surface for that district. So the impervious surface ratio is different for each district, and it wouldn't include things like open space and infrastructure and things like that. It's based on how many lots and the impervious surface maximum percentage in that zoning district.
And we're not basing this off anything that the county's doing right now? I mean,
Our requirement, if we pass this, would be more than what the county requires. And I don't know, I may not even need to vote on this, to be honest with you, because we've got a subdivision in planning right now and engineering. But like 100, I mean 110, if y'all need to recuse me, but how many of our current subdivisions that are under construction today or in planning today would this, I mean, this wouldn't affect those that have already gotten approval.
That's right.
But can you give me an idea based on one subdivision, like how would this have affected Benson Village? You got any, I mean, that's 171 lots.
Right.
They went to what, 60%? I'm assuming is whatever they went to.
They would have to build out better stormwater infrastructure if you were to pass this. Since I've been here since April, none of the subdivision have been proposed with this in mind, and that's part of the reason why this proposal is coming to you.
Other municipalities, I know this, and I know Johnson County just approved this a couple of weeks ago, are requiring annual stormwater inspections. We don't currently do that in the town of Benson. Is that something that's going forward? And are you aware of what the county is doing with those?
I have seen their proposals. I don't think that has passed. I think it's passed through one phase, but I don't know if it's passed yet.
Can it be tabled till we have more time to study
Sure could.
and see what we're up against?
Yes, sir, of course.
Okay, you want to make a motion?
can you also, in that time, kind of look at the county and kind of, we don't want to just not do any of these projects. We want to be a friendly town, but we've been talking about the UDO forever, okay? And I know where you're trying to get, let's put it in writing, but we don't want to scare anybody off either. If the county comes up and 90% of theirs are 50%, and we'll go 100%, I am definitely not for that. I'm for more of whatever the county is doing.
So the county bases their stormwater permits based off of our jurisdiction rules, and I will also say our consultant was co-author for this proposal, who I believe is also employed for the county stormwater. Yes, sir.
I make a motion to be tabled till we have more time to study before we do something we can't get out of.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, that carries. Table it till next time.
Would you like me to bring it back next month, or would you like me to just wait until?
No, bring it back next month. A
Okay.
lot of things we table and we never see it. Yeah.
Sure.
I'd love for it to come, I want to talk to you, because I got a lot of questions, I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
I'd like for it to come to our work session, so
We
we
do
can.
it to the work
so
session.
We can do it
Okay.
to the work session, so we can see what the county's doing, maybe bring what the county's doing, and then we can compare, if that's all right with y'all.
Sure.
So that'll be our first meeting.
I'll see if we can get Beth
First
to attend
meeting
too.
in
Yay.
October.
Yeah, is that okay?
Cool.
Good.
Yes, sir. Alrighty. Text Amendment 06 is a petition to change the permitted use matrix of the UDO to allow funeral homes in the I-2 zoning district. The physical change to the document would be to add the P for permitted symbol in the I-2 column of the funeral home row. I-2 zoning currently permits crematory services, but does not allow for funeral homes. Staff believes this is a reasonable request considering that the two uses are often found together, and this text amendment would allow for both uses to exist simultaneously in the I-2 zoning district.
Would anyone like to come and speak in favor of this request?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Torres Boo. I'm a licensed funeral director, embalmer, and funeral service provider. And we're looking to potentially do some things in the town.
Could you just state your address?
My physical address where I live?
Yeah.
Okay, my current address is in Davidson County, 262 Sparrow Lane, and that is in Lexington, North Carolina. Yes, ma'am. Okay, sorry about that. But again, good evening to you all again, and thank you for your time. But like I was saying, I am Torres Boo. I'm a funeral service provider. And locally here in Benson, in this particular zoning, concerning the land use tables, funeral homes are not permitted currently in the I-2 zoning, but we have noticed and discovered that crematories are. So in reference to
I can tell you're a funeral director because you're speaking in a real low tone.
well, we speak up. Okay, sorry about that. Is that better? I didn't want to speak too loud into it.
A little bit more.
Okay.
Okay.
But as I was saying, currently those are not permitted in the I-2 zoning. In reference to funeral service, being a licensed funeral director, embalmer, and a cremation certified technician as well, these two entities really go hand in hand in reference to that. People enter the doors of funeral homes every day looking for burials, cremation services, funerals, followed by cremation instead of burial. And it presents a sort of an issue if I was to per se have a property in Benson that is currently with funeral homes being zoned for B2. If I have a property there in that zoning and then wanting to do something in reference to a cremation, I would have to, I guess in retrospect, have another property, maybe less than a mile down the road that is zoned for I-2, just to be able to have a crematory. In reference to that, I think that being able to fully service the residents of this area in a way where they can come and have a one-stop shop, whatever you need, we have here. Whatever you're coming for, especially in a time as detrimental as losing someone. I think we've all been there. We know what that feels like. To be able to come to one place, to know that, hey, my loved one is here. We're not having to take my loved one 20 minutes or 30 minutes to another town or to another area just to have them to be properly disposed of in reference to cremation or any other legal method of disposition. And so that's pretty much my stance on that and why I submitted that text approval or text amendment in reference to that.
You're not located in Benson at this time?
No, sir. My current residence is not here. We're looking to have business here. We're from here. I grew up here. Grew up right here on Market Street. That's our town, our family. Everyone is from this area. And we think a great deal of the Benson area. We're looking forward to be able to come in and do some really good things in the area, but we definitely would need the consideration to do so.
Now, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So you can't have presently you can't have a funeral home where the crematory is.
Yes, sir.
You have a crematory where the funeral home, wherever that's zoned.
No, because crematories are zoned for industrial, and so with that, you can't
So
have
you
that.
can't. No way. Okay, I got you.
No, sir.
Thanks. Anyone else? No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean.
No, you're fine, sir. Excellent question. You're fine.
So, Anyone else have a question? Okay. Anyone else want to come and speak in favor?
Thank you.
Does anyone want to come speak in opposition? One more. Anyone opposition? Okay, having no one, that ends the public hearing. So, any discussion, or we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the text amendment as proposed.
So there's a motion on the floor. Any discussion? Further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries.
All right, good to see you all again. Our final planning presentation tonight is text amendment 07, a petition to modify the minimum parking calculations for restaurants and service neighborhood land uses. The physical change to the ordinance would modify the parking minimum table as seen here. The proposal would change service neighborhood from 1 space required per 200 square feet to 1 space required per 400 feet. The UDO describes service neighborhood as a facility involved in providing limited personal services to local traffic in the surrounding neighborhood. Neighborhood services shall include the following: personal care services such as hair, nail, tanning, massage therapy, laundromat, dry cleaning, and laundry pickup station, pack and ship facility, or any similar use. This proposal would also change restaurants from 1 space required per 100 square feet to 1 space required per 4 proposed seats. Staff is amenable to these proposals as they are reasonable and more closely aligned with standard parking minimums across the state. High amounts of minimum parking are problematic and also a deterrent for new businesses, and thus this proposal would provide more opportunities for these types of businesses to come to Benson.
Would anyone like to come and speak in favor of this amendment? Anyone? Anyone like to come speak in opposition to this text amendment? Okay, seeing no one come for either one, I'll close the public hearing. And discussion, please.
Tanner, would this create any non-conforming uses that are currently being utilized in the town? If we had a restaurant in business right now and they moved out for 180 days and then they had to go back in, would they not be able to go in if we increase their parking requirements?
No, sir. So this is actually loosening the parking
loosening,
requirements.
okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Unless there's some, I can't foresee,
Maybe
because the change of square footage to per seats in restaurants, unless it was like a really small restaurant that had a lot of seats. But generally speaking, this is loosening the requirements for parking for these 2 types of businesses.
Anyone? Anyone want to put it out there?
I make a motion that it's not up there. I make a motion that it meets all of the criteria and that the rezoning is consistent with the law. Not rezoning. I'm on rezoning. The text amendment is consistent.
Okay, there's kind of,
This one's actually pretty simple. It's just I make a motion to approve the text amendment as proposed.
Well, I've got all these words. I just make a motion we approve.
that was kind of a quasi-motion.
That's exactly right.
Now,
That's what I'm doing.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? All right, that'll pass. All right, good deal. Great. Now, we are moving on to old business, right?
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, so, continue discussion on the 25-26 budget with Steve.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, if I could, before we start to discuss the benefit information that I sent out to you in your packet, I'd like to suggest that, first of all, I'd like to point out and suggest to the board that we're all aware that local governments offer employee benefits is helpful for retention of current qualified employees, and it also is an attraction for future qualified employees. And this is apparent that this is a practice among all local governments. For example, last month you were provided with this document that showed the 401ks that are offered across the state. 70 out of 100 counties offer it, and some 370-some out of 500 municipalities offer it. Now, they could be matching, or they could be flat out, a flat fee. So in light of the fact that we have an adopted balanced budget, that you all adopted it for this year, it's a budget that will get us through this fiscal year, and of course, you're gonna have to put a budget together again in the spring for the following fiscal year. The balanced budget includes all of the current approved salaries and employee benefits. So I would like to suggest that the board might want to consider grandfathering, and that's been discussed already in several of our meetings, for current employees, and that the board discuss amending the benefit package for going forward for future employees, changing the 401k to matching, or whatever you want to come up with. But that would be something I just want to suggest to the board that you might want to consider.
Okay. What do you guys think?
I think that's reasonable, because as it stands now with the state, they have grandfathered a lot of, as far as their retirement, they have grandfathered a lot of state employees anyway, so I really don't have a problem with grandfathering all of the benefits in.
I've got two questions left over from our last meeting, and you weren't here, and the $60,000 in credit card, was that a budgeted expense? And so when we reduced that, when we passed that on last month, did that $60,000 go toward increasing the contingency that we had in the budget already? So where would
Yes, that would go towards
where would that
increasing the
contingency be?
Yes, sir.
So where
It will be in Fund 30 and 31. Those credit card fees, it's utilities.
Okay, so that will be in the utilities, but that
But
60,000,
it's still-
okay.
Yeah,
All
that
right.
was 60,000 that was budgeted that we're not going to spend now.
And I just clarifying what I'm reading. So the other question that we had was the $25 per month, whether we were allowed as a municipality to continue to fund that to the employees, based on the statutes, and did we find out the answer to that question?
Yeah, I agree with Scott. I think the state takes the position that you can't. I don't know what kind of problems it would cause if we tried to reimburse them for that. I'm reluctant to sort of suggesting that, even though I may have just done that. But I think that the way they read the statute, you can't pay that for them.
So is that gonna stop the $25 per month?
Yeah, as of January 1st, it would have to, because that's when this all kicks in.
Okay, so that will
as
stop
of
in
January
January
21st.
Okay.
As of January 1st, and that's something we don't have any control over. It's controlled by the state.
Okay.
So would you like to run over really what we're, and I'm all about just moving forward on this, and if they've been given whatever, I don't look at taking it back. I want to grandfather it in, but I want to know what I'm grandfathering it in. What's on the docket as far, just like what he just brought up, I am not aware of, except coming from William when he's talked to me about what the state says, no, you can't do, or we're going to take that outcome January the 1st.
That should give us an additional $9,000 in revenue, right? So
Yes,
that's
sir.
$18,000 a year, so
Yes,
that would
sir.
go back toward whatever fund is in Fund 10.
Yes, sir.
Well, that'll be
Wherever your employees'
yeah,
salaries are.
yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
all
sir.
right. So that's an additional revenue
Yeah.
that
And
we're
that's
not really creating, that we're just not gonna have to pay because we're not allowed to.
That's right. We're not allowed to.
Okay.
And then also, the board that took salaries off the table, that money is going where?
That would be in Fund 10 as well.
That's the general fund. Are you talking about, what are you talking about vacancies that we?
No, I'm talking about what?
Commissioners.
The
Commissioner
salaries.
salaries
Oh.
that we went to y'all and said, no, I'm not gonna get paid to sit up here when we're taking stuff from from the employees, I think it needs to start right here. But that's everybody that went on it. William, I think you're off, I'm off, Max is off. I think it's just something that each individual commissioner would do on its own. I just want to make sure that the money is going back in the right place.
It's going in, it'll go into the contingency as well, because it's not being spent.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
that's a potential $21,000. If everybody were to do it, that would be a potential $21,000
Yes, sir.
that we could put back in the budget.
Yes, sir. The only one thing that if you go with this approach is that you still might, whether or not you're going to grandfather the 11 employees that have the health care stipend, but the stipend would not be going forward.
Right.
Okay. So what, from what I'm understanding then, there's really no action to be taken other than to say that other than to vote on no longer doing the health stipend, except the 11 employees that are grandfathered, because your budget, as you adopted, has all of this in there. So you're not, there's no need to take any action on that at all on the current budget. Now, if you want to continue to discuss what we're going to have going forward, we could do that tonight, or you could do it at your work session. I'm talking about what the employee benefit package will look like for the new employees that are hired in the future.
What do y'all think?
Let's do it at the work session.
Yeah, I think that would be ideal, honestly.
Okay, great.
Well, at least if we pursue that route, it's not like they were accustomed to something, then it was taken away, so.
Right. And so the only thing that I would ask you tonight is to vote on the health stipend to grandfather the 11, but we would not be doing the health stipend in the future if that's what the board wants. The $400 I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Don't we have a motion on the floor?
No.
Man, I thought she made a motion.
No, she didn't need to make a motion because you're not changing anything,
What do you do now?
except for the health, I'm sorry, yes, ma'am.
Well, that's what I thought.
Oh, so I just need to make a motion that we keep the current benefits
For the
as it is for the 11 employees,
current.
Grandfather.
Yes, ma'am, that would
Grandfather
be the
them
appropriate thing
in.
to do, yes.
grandfather them in, and then moving forward, any new employee would not have those benefits.
And you'll have whatever y'all change. on
Whatever we
the
change
work
it to,
session.
that is what will be offered to
So,
the
Correct.
next
so
employee.
Yes, ma'am.
we have consistently been paying $25 toward their individual insurance policies.
So we got a motion on the floor.
Yes.
Any more discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
That carries. So we'll go over there.
All right, next item is a discussion of the town's cell phone policy. Now, in your packet, we put together a, you have in your packet did we not send that out?
Yeah, they have, that's what you gave me in.
Yeah, okay, all right. You know, the cell phone policy that we sent out to you is one that we drafted. And what that cell phone policy does is that it establishes conditions under which someone could be considered to have a cell phone. And those conditions, as you see that are listed, would allow for the board to make it, and allow for the board to decide, using those conditions, who should get the cell phone. In addition to that, the changes that we made in the cell phone policy puts the authority for approving cell phones with the town board and not with the town manager anymore. The old cell phone policy, it was the manager who was making those decisions. So what would happen under the cell phone policy, and it's essentially the same, it's just that when the department head comes forward and says, I think that this employee meets the conditions and we would like, this position meets the conditions, and we would like to, I'd like to recommend that this position get a cell phone. Then the manager would review that, and then the manager would bring that information to the board for you all to make a decision. Now, in the cell phone policy, just like in the new one as well as in the old one, it does say that the board can make a decision based on whether you want to do it budgetarily, whether it has a budget impact, and whether you decide that you want to take on that budget impact. So that's the essentials of the new cell phone policy. Now, there is a list that we sent out to you of the positions that the town currently has that have paid cell phones and have the stipend, the ones that have town cell phones, and then positions that actually do meet some of the conditions that do not have cell phones. I would back up and say the new cell phone policy also would approve a cell phone for each department head, because there are department heads that do not have a cell phone. Now, as far as, I should also say that the cell phone stipend in the new policy is one set by the board. So if you wanted to do the new policy, you would set the cell phone stipend. Current, as I pointed out before, the current reason why you have a $35 and a $50 for the stipend is that the old policy in 2011 had for the basic phone, which we remember in 2011 they were flip phones. We don't have those anymore, and that was the $35. And then there was $50 for a smartphone. Well, everybody's got basically what you call a smartphone now, and so that's why there was a difference in those two costs. But at this point, the new policy would have the board establishing what that stipend would be. And the town cell phone, as I recall, was $41.67 a month. So what we're doing tonight is establishing some conditions that you would consider for whether a position should have a cell phone. And the final decision would be the board's as to which of those positions would get a cell phone, whether it's a town phone or a stipend. I would like the conditions that you have there do match the employees who currently have stipends. And the positions that currently have stipends. Primarily because their jobs require extensive use of a cell phone to be able to accomplish their task. So.
Need a motion on that?
I would ask I would ask us to table this until the work session, because we just got it today.
Okay, that's fine.
I've not had a chance to go through the list and
Yes, sir.
really do the research. I definitely can tell you that I'm not in agreement of paying more than a stipend than what it would cost the town to provide a phone. I think that should be an equal amount, but since we just got this, got this recently, I would table this until our work session and give me more time to look at it if the board would consider.
We can bring it to the work session.
So we have a motion.
And also in that, if you would contact the people that actually use them and see if they really like carrying two phones.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, a lot of them, I know if I was offered, I'd just soon use my own, but there again, if I was in a job and had people calling me at home on my cell phone to do the town business, I might want two phones, yeah.
Okay, we can talk about that as well, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. There's no need to table anything, it's just we move to the work session.
Okay.
All right. Last on your old business was the budget transfer to buy the body cameras for the police department. We're going to buy 10 cameras, and you can see that we've moved money. I'll let Angie, if you would explain, you put that one together.
Yeah, so what this is just a budget transfer. We're gonna take, the total cost is $41,401, so we would just buy the 10 cameras outright. And so we would take, in the budget, we have put $30,600 in for software maintenance. The police department was gonna get an upgrade to their software. Well, they said that they feel like the body cameras are more of a necessity than the software, that they will continue to use the software that they have. So it will take $30,600 from that line item, and then also from the salaries from his vacant positions, will, move $10,800 into one line item to buy the 10 body cameras.
And that maintains your balanced budget that you all adopted.
So we need a motion to make that transfer.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I make that motion that we approve the body cameras with the transfer of funds of $30,600 and $10,800.
Any more discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carries. Okey-doke. New business.
Yes, sir. New business. You have in your packet the contract for doing the fiscal year 25 audit. We will be getting an approval, as Mr. Sharp said, either tomorrow or Monday. And we will begin in earnest working on the fiscal year 25 audit. Fortunately, we now have until December 31st. The LGC set a new date, so we got a solid 3 months. And we also have commitment from the league that we'll be bringing an accountant on board to work alongside Angie to put the audit together, and also to help train Angie for future audits. And they also, they've also reached out to GWI again, Beth Wood, to help us with the year-end ledger numbers that we need to do, and that's all going to be handled by the league. That part we're sure of. Okay.
Okay, great.
So we just need a motion to approve the contract, and then that will go to the LGC for their approval.
Can I hear a motion?
I make a motion that,
Go ahead.
I make a motion that we approve.
Okay, there's a motion. Any more discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carries. Next is the cost of service study by electric cities and the town's electric system.
Yes, sir. I included in your packet a recommendation that the town conduct a cost of service study. One hasn't been done in years, and I'll just quickly point out that the total cost of an electrical distribution system, a cost of service study looks at the total cost of an electric distribution system has for the provision of electrical services. It includes functional costs of local lines, poles, transformers, delivery power to end users, and the cost for billing, meter reading, and customer support. It looks at the cost based on fixed costs, variable costs, and consumer-related costs. Demand costs are costs that are related to the maximum capacity needed to meet customer demand, which changes whether it's a residential, a commercial, or an industrial customer. Energy cost is exactly what it talks about. That's a kWh that measures the amount of energy that a customer is using. And then you've got customer costs that range from what it takes to serve individual customers, like meter maintenance, billing, and service line installation. What happens when that cost of service study is completed is the board will have an accurate way of assigning costs to the customer classes that are producing those costs in those areas that I just named. It would give you what your costs are for residential, for commercial, and industrial, and then provide the board with rates to be able to make sure that those customer classes are meeting the cost of the electrical system and the energy that's being provided. The Electricities is offering the town a $5,000 grant to be used to help pay for the $28,900 cost of service study, which would make the cost to the town of $23,900. And just for purposes of what of the $23,009, that's the equivalent of 0.4% of what it costs you to run your more than $6 million electrical system. So I would highly recommend that a cost of service study, particularly given the fact that you've just seen numbers that show that our electric system over years now has been losing money. And this will give you very accurate numbers as to what the cost of service is for our electrical system.
Okay.
And I would highly recommend moving forward to approve this so we can go ahead and get started. It's a 3 to 6 month process.
Well, I am all about approving this. I've talked to the people that are doing it, and it should have been done a long time ago. We wouldn't be quite in the situation that we're in right now if it had been done in the past before we did some of these subdivisions. And in saying that, if it's going to take 3 to 4 months, what are we doing right now on the new?
We're charging what it's costing us to run the electrical system.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, absolutely. What our costs are, that's what we're charging.
I'll
Because
make
that's
a-
what you should be doing with your enterprise.
I make a motion, go ahead.
No, sorry, you go ahead.
No.
Steve?
I make a motion, we approve.
I got a couple questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Let him make
Yeah,
the
that's what
motion.
I said.
Make your
Go
motion,
ahead.
Will. Finish your motion, and then we're gonna talk.
Okay, he finished.
Okay, now,
He made a motion to approve.
now roll.
Will this not only look at the cost per type of customer, will this also look at our current customer base and do an audit of them to make sure that the customers are being charged correctly based on what they fall into? Because I know we've run into a lot of problems, and I still think there are problems where some customers are not being charged the correct rate.
That's exactly what it will do. We'll make sure that customers are in the correct class.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any other comments? or
And
questions?
this is not budgeted, so this would come out of the contingency funds.
It would come out of the contingency, and we have contingency in the electric fund.
Okay, all right.
Who made the motion?
All right, so
I
Will
made
made a
a motion.
motion that we approve. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, passes. Okay. Next is consider appointment of the mayor to the Upper Coastal Plain Area Rural Planning Organization.
Yes, sir. Throughout the state of North Carolina, there are rural planning organizations, and there are metropolitan planning organizations. The town of Benson falls into the Upper Coastal Plain Area Rural Planning Organization. That organization basically has two committees. There is a Transportation Advisory Committee and a Transportation Coordinating Committee. Those two committees meet regularly with NCDOT engineers to talk about the plans that the state has for the various roads and highways that they're building. The state has a 10-year plan that's constantly changing as every year they go back and they reassess. Some projects get moved out further, some get moved up. What the rural planning organization, it makes sure that the local officials are part of the process of determining what roads are going to be in that 10-year plan. The Transportation Advisory Committee is made up of the county chairman in each county, and it's also made up of 2 of the municipalities in each county and 1 at large. The county chairman has designated the town of Benson as one of the 3 towns in Johnston County to be on the advisory committee, which is a great thing because that's going to give Benson a upfront voice about what DOT is planning, particularly for our area. And so the Transportation Coordinating Committee is composed of the managers. I would suggest that for the time being that I'll keep in touch with NCDOT, but when your new manager gets selected, that you would then appoint that a manager to the TCC. And that TCC does not meet as often as the TAC. The TAC meets sometimes as much as once a month, but it varies. Not to put another burden on the mayor, but it is and I included in here for your reading pleasure the TAC and TCC handbook, which goes into much more depth about what those committees do. I served on the rural planning, on the metropolitan planning organization in Pitt County, and you learn a great deal about what the state has in plan for various roads and highways, and they provide a document, Mr. Mayor, that you can share with the commissioners as well for out of those meetings.
Okay, okay. So, do we need a motion?
Need a motion, yes, sir.
All right, so do I hear a motion to appoint me as onto this,
Transportation Advisory Committee.
I make a motion that we appoint the Mayor Max Rayner, as the consultant director.
any more discussion? All in favor? Okay. Okay, next is, consider adoption of resolution 273/2025.
Yep.
That's Jay, applicant for water system asset inventory and assessment project.
Yeah, so we were approached by the Wooten Company last week about redoing our water asset management plan, taking a look at all the lines and how our water is used in the town. We were going to do it previously, but we decided not to do it instead of spending money. But they found a grant that's upcoming in the next, we're in the long session right now. We'll submit this by September 30th. We'll have grant funds to do our water asset management plan next year. I'm just asking for permission to go after that money.
So, you want to make a motion?
I make a
What would that
motion.
cost us? Is it a matching grant?
It won't cost us anything.
We get a flat 150,000.
Great.
Okay.
Yes.
We can speak on some of it.
Better hurry up and make that motion.
I make a motion to allow Jay Murray to apply for the grant for this water system asset inventory and assessment project.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Any more discussion?
I've got a question.
Sure.
Did Ray, there he is.
Yeah, you're going to ask
Yeah,
him probably.
Ray wasn't here at our last meeting. You were dealing with a water leak. You did a report last month, a staff report.
Ray, would you come up?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. You did a staff report, and in your staff report, you submitted that you were currently assessing, I think, lead-based lines, and that you had found 9 that needed to be replaced. Is that correct? But you've got a lot more to assess.
The program's in its infancy.
So that was my question. Is there a deadline for us to replace those?
Replacements are second phase. The first phase, we've got 3 years, I think it's 2027, October 27, to complete our inventory.
Okay, so we're just inventorying now. We're going to worry about replacement after that.
That's right.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I was clear on that, because when I saw that lines needed to be replaced, I
Yeah.
we'll have to pay for that.
Yeah.
So,
And we'll have 10 years to replace after.
10 years after the 27.
That's right.
Okay, all right. Thank you, sir.
All right, so, got a motion on the floor. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Uh,
Passes.
Hey, Jay, while you're standing there, how's the L-shaped building coming?
Cabinets are coming in next week, and the countertops, and we'll be done. We'll
So-
go for our final inspection with the county.
Okay. When's the moving date?
We have a presentation for you for your work session that Matt's going to be making about the moving.
Okay. You're through.
I do.
Consider voluntary annexation petition by Gene Parker of 467 Dog Road.
Okay, we've got it's a contiguous, voluntary annexation is like a little over 31 acres. I just need the board to make a motion that you guys will want to proceed with this so that I can do the certificate of sufficiency, and then I will bring that back to y'all.
Okay. Okey dokey.
That's the motion.
I make a motion that we approve the annexation.
Okey doke.
Well, I was just
It's not-
investigating the sufficiency, that's all we're doing right now.
Yeah, that's.
We're not approving no annexation.
She's just gonna, she's gonna confirm that it's statutorily, meets the
Okay,
requirement.
there you go. I make the motion that you investigate.
Okay.
All right, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, passes. Number F is NC Government Highway, NC Governor's Highway Safety Program, and so
Yes, sir.
we'll go with that.
Yes, sir. Earlier this year, the police department put in an application, this predated me, put in an application for a $10,000 grant from North Carolina Governor's Highway Safety Program. We got word this week we got a conditional letter of approval back in the first part of June, and we got word this week that we're in line to be approved. The application that went in would be that it was traffic enforcement efforts for emphasizing violations as well as seatbelt and child restraint violations. It will not be doing anything like conducting checkpoints. The way this operates is the grant will not come to pay for your day-to-day activity. These dollars pay for officers who will be on overtime, and the chief will be using officers that are not on patrol duty to do these traffic enforcement and the seatbelt and child restraint enforcements, and all of that overtime will be paid for by the grant and will not come out of the coffers from the town once the DOT approves it. And we have to have the resolution from the board that you have in the packet adopted tonight, so we can put the application in by September 30th.
This is city limits only. It has nothing to do with any of the interstates.
That's correct, sir. It's just for in-town use. I used it in January when we did the educational program at the traffic circle.
Can this be used to cover the overtime to have traffic police on duty during mule days to help us save some of those costs?
The approval's not till after the 30th, so it won't do us any good.
They put that in.
All righty. So we got a motion, right?
I make a motion that we approve.
All right, so all in favor? Passes. Great. Okay, so town manager report.
Yes, sir. We are currently, our insurance coverage is with Carolina.
It's with Carolina Alliance.
Carolina Alliance, thank you. With Carolina Alliance. Carolina Alliance is currently looking to reissue our insurance. In other words, they're doing an underwriting right now. And I just wanted to ask the board, this would be completed sometime in mid-October. I just wanted to ask the board if you wanted me to consider reaching out to the League of Municipalities. They have an entire risk management staff, and they offer liability and property insurance as well. This is the manager in me speaking, that anytime you're getting ready to renew insurance, you need to decide whether, maybe let's see what's in the market out there. So the league offers liability and property insurance, and I would say that something like better than 50% of the towns in the state that are our size have their insurance, property and liability, with the League of Municipalities. They do have an excellent risk management office. That's nothing against the current insurance company, because I've dealt with them several times now since I've been here, and they do a good job. But you might just want to see what the price differential is.
I'm in favor of that.
Okay, I'll move forward with that. Okay. Town related. Also a report just came in today. We got $4,968 for the surplus street sweeper. And so we received the check today, and it's gone
And
into
we just spent $10,000
into the budget, into the contingency. So
where does that money go?
$4,968.
$5,000.
Okay. Mule Days is coming up, of course, and National Night Out. Chief, you want to come up and give a quick overview on the National Night Out?
Yes, sir. National Night Out is going to be October the 7th. This year we're going to run it from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. It'll be at the Grove as it was last year. We normally do it in October now because it's too hot to do it in August based on our experience. So we'll hold it in October. Right now we're still in the final planning stages for it. We'll have bounce houses and other attractions for the kids. Our bicycle patrol team is going to be our demonstration this year, so Mr. Chandler, you should appreciate that. And then we'll have, I believe, the plan right now is for us to cook hot dogs and chips and stuff for the people in attendance. and hopefully we'll see y'all out there.
Well, that's good. Now, while you're up there, give a report on Mule Day. Golf cart registration, and also, are you pretty secure on what officers you got to have?
Yeah, our schedule is done. We actually sent it out earlier this week to the agencies that are going to be coming in to assist. We had a meeting with our staff yesterday to go over the work schedule. Our golf cart stuff, we'll be doing the drive-through golf cart permitting again next week at the old electrical department building. It'll be operational from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Are we behind on that, or are you still good on that?
We're still good.
Okay.
We're up over 100 now. So, I mean, we normally do 300 to 400.
I've had
the
several
week
people
of.
ask me, I said, I don't know. I
Yeah,
really don't.
yeah, we're on par with where we are about every
Okay,
year.
same fee as last year?
Yeah, $60.
Good.
Yep.
Talking about Mule Days, Kayla just reminded me. What does the board want to have in terms of the vehicles to be riding in the parade?
Definitely not the mule and wagon. I'm not riding
How
that
about, how about just the mule this year?
thing. I'm not riding that either.
I mean, it might be a year for it.
Yeah.
It's
been a while. That's so long.
Well, one year we walked. Y'all remember that? The year
I
we
do
walked.
remember that.
I remember when y'all did.
I think at Christmas last year, y'all were in the back of a truck, though, right?
Yeah, we rode the truck last
It
year.
was one of the town's trucks.
It was the
One of
town's
new
truck.
trucks, yeah. Is that something that y'all want to do this year?
It's not new anymore.
Is it, it's not what?
It's clean, no cleaner. I was making a joke.
It is
The
clean.
one we rode in, it was so high, I couldn't hardly get in. I had to help, somebody had to help me up. Because it's really high. It's really not that convenient for me, for older people to get up in.
How about maybe a armored vehicle? Well,
How many of you
how about
know we riding?
Harnett County's Bearcat or something? I don't know. I will say that I reckon y'all got notification, the breakfast that we are all invited to will be, what, 8 o'clock?
8 o'clock on Saturday.
Yeah, it's right here.
Yeah, it's usually 8 o'clock. It's usually 8
I think
o'clock.
it's 8 o'clock. That's
It's running through miles.
It comes from the chamber. It's the
Yeah.
chamber of
And it'll
commerce.
be here, it will be here.
Yeah.
It will be here,
Yes, yes,
and we are invited. I understand.
We'll follow up on transportation for the board.
Okay, well, you know, a week away.
I know.
How about if we got like a step, so would that help?
We had a step stool on the wagon year before last.
Oh, that
Yeah.
wagon, I'm not riding that
But
wagon. I
if
gotta
we
stay.
had a step
Stay
stool
there.
for the truck, or something to help you get in, would that be
How
better?
about riding on top of a fire truck?
I don't care.
I
I'm
was
just
gonna
gonna ride
say,
on
if
that.
you want a fire truck, might not be a bad idea. I know we have access.
You gonna climb on top of a fire truck?
No, not on
Yeah.
top, on the inside. There's plenty of room.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You better talk to Alan back there. He may
Let's
not
transfer.
have-
Let us staff.
Yeah,
Yes,
y'all work on it.
yes.
We'll come up with an idea.
Okay.
All right.
Town attorney.
I don't have anything, unless anybody has any questions.
Commissioner Daniel.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay, and I don't have anything either. So do I hear a motion that we go into closed session?
Make a motion that we go to closed session under NCGS 143 dot whatever you said.
After a
Like,
5-minute
5
recess.
minutes.
After a 5-minute recess.
All in favor, aye.